really, really cold. Definitely the most uncomfortable I've ever been setting up camp. My hands are so cold I can hardly bend my thumbs. It took me like 5 solid minutes to put these gloves on. This is how I stay warm backpacking in the winter. So my layering system is pretty simple. It's pretty much the same 3 season. The winter is a little bit different. I usually go a little bit heavier. But truthfully, on this trip, we were expected to be kind of in the 20s. It was not a whole lot different from my normal setup. So what I do for base layer is pretty much a pair of like Asics or Under Armour running tights. And then I have these really, really cheap like fleece pants. And that's all I pretty much have except for a couple pair of shorts. These are actually Frog Tog rain pants cut down just as a rain layer. Now up top I have an Under Armour base layer, which isn't really my favorite base layer. It's not super warm, it's just kind of some synthetic material, but it does the job. I wear a t-shirt over that. My mid layer is always a fleece. I love fleece. You can get it wet, it still retains heat and everything. And this trip specifically, I got a little bit heavier fleece. So my fleeces weigh about 8 ounces, and this one weighed in at about 15. So it's definitely warmer. I'm definitely glad I brought this one. Fleece is always my mid layer, which is kind of what I hike in. Never hike in the puffy jacket. I sweat too much, but if I get too hot hiking, I can take off the fleece and I can just run a base layer with a little Montbell windbreaker that I have. It's a wind shirt. It only weighs like 2 ounces. At camp, it's the puffy jacket all the way right here. For hand warmth, on this trip I have these like little North Face gloves. They're not too warm actually. And then underneath them I have kind of like a surgical glove. It's a steel nitrile. It's a dual layer glove. It's white on the inside, black on the outside, but it's just pretty much a latex glove. These my North Faces are actually soaking wet right now. My hands are actually staying kind of warm because I have that layer, you know, underneath it. Last night I was actually running the latex ones over top of these so that these didn't get wet. But at some point I didn't do that, and I got them soaked, and they're still soaked from last night. Now for socks, wool socks. Smart Wools are my favorite. A lot of people like Darn Toughs. A couple pair of those. I actually only brought 2 on this trip, which was a huge mistake because they're just both completely soaked right now, and I got wet feet until we get a fire started. So it's pretty cold. Last night it just rained, and it was rough. If you guys want to catch that trip video, I'm gonna post that as my next video. I'm gonna link that up here. Obviously not gonna be up for like another week or so if you're watching this when I first release it. I bring a beanie. I've been wearing this thing for years, and I have this Under Armour hood that makes me look like a cool ninja. So it's pretty sweet. I thought about bringing a buff. A lot of times I'll bring a buff if it's not going to be super cold. But this trip is some pretty high elevation. We're at 4,500 feet right now in the Smoky Mountains. And it's legit out here. That's pretty much my clothing setup, and now that's pretty much what I bring all through every season, except the fleece is usually a little bit lighter, which is better for hiking in warmer temps because I won't sweat as much. Well, good news, I made it through the night. This is now the next day. I stayed warm. It might have dropped into the teens last night, but it got me thinking too. I had a lot of time to think in there, and I did forget one very, very important layer to my system, and that is the shell, my rain jacket. It's actually a discontinued Mountain Hardwear Prestige, like a dual layer, like Dry Q technology or something, but you gotta have a shell to put over your puffy and everything, because if this gets wet, you're kind of in some trouble. So it's really a 4-layer system, other than like my little windbreaker and my t-shirt that I wear over my base layer. But base layer, fleece for the mid layer, puffy, and then the shell. You know, I could get away with not wearing the shell for most of, you know, this kind of climate and everything, but as if you guys saw the trip video, which I'll link somewhere, I might have already mentioned that. The first night we hiked in, there was no snow, but it was just nothing but rain. Super, super cold. rain, so we depended on that shell layer. I actually didn't even use this puffy for the entire first day, throughout the night, or anything. That's it for the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button down below and the notification bell beside it. Catch the trip video for this one. It's been a rough one. It's been really interesting. So yeah, but I think that does it. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.